Okay, we have a switch up here on the ceiling that turns on and off this light, and I want to put it down here on the wall. So we're going to use what's called wiremold. Here in the country I was born in, we use 14 American wire gauge on 15 amps, 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop like we're going to have here. That's on a 110, 120 volt circuit, or on a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. And I'll show you how to do that. And now we're going to wire this intake. I got a nice new cobalt pouch at Lowe's today. It's really tight. So this little splice here in the leather fits perfect right in that spot there. find out which one is the live one here. This one. I remember buying some of these for just 2 wires, and I can't find it, but you know what? You don't get upset, you don't frustrate, you just use the 4-pin position ones. It's not a problem. I'll just make sure we got the right length here. It would be nice if I could find those 2 position ones, but if you can't, you can't. You don't get upset, you just do what you can without them, that's all. You can use 4 position ones with 2 wires. So we're going to cap off our live wire right here with this wiggle here. And I'm making sure my copper comes up to the end here. And I'll put my other one up here, make sure it's not too long or too short. It's going to be too short, but we'll take care of that when we're ready to hook our wires up. We're going to use a wire mold extension box. If I had lost that screw and don't find it, you know what? I would grab another one. If I don't find it, you don't find it. You just grab another, that's all. And I can't find it, so we're going to grab another one. We're not going to get all upset and not get all bent out of shape. So we buy extras. It never helps get all bent out of shape. You just grab another one when you lose something. swept up and thrown away, so be it. It's gone. Don't worry about it. Just leave it behind you. It's not in front of you, it's behind you, so you don't get upset. So we're going to use a couple washers here with screws that have smaller heads on them, so we're not getting upset over anything. Nothing. Matter of fact, I'm glad to lose something because it gives you a challenge not to get frustrated and upset. Because it's not worth it. It just isn't worth it. And I'll have to use a flathead here. I just love flathead screws because they keep slipping off the screwdrivers. But you know, you don't get upset. You just take your time until it's on there. That's all. You don't frustrate. When you lose what you need to, you just make do with what you got. And don't frustrate over anything at all. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now we're ready to get our wire mold sized up. We're going to use a right angle here, and we have one that's open. So we'll put it on here like this. That's a factory edge, so I don't have to file that. Sits in there like this. We'll line this up with our corner where we're going to go. And we'll just mark it right here where we're going to have to cut it. And we'll cut it on our line right here. I'll give it a little extra support right there. Wants to be stubborn, it's going to be stubborn. That's all. You don't get upset. go, we got it off. Okay, so we gotta make sure we get all our sharp edges out of here. And we'll push this back in here like this. Make sure it's seated in flat like that there. We'll use some good sturdy screws to screw it up onto our wall here. Push this up onto our wall here. We'll get it going straight. So put it right here. So we'll cut off a piece to come down to our light switch. Wants to be stubborn, just let it be stubborn. Very end, you just break it off like that. So now we'll take our screwdriver and we'll get all our sharp edges off. I'll make sure all our little burrs are off of here. And we'll make sure our little burrs are off. this edge over here. Okay, so I get this piece in here like this. This box is deep, but we don't need it this deep, but it's what we have and it's what we're going to use. Tap it in like that. And we'll screw it onto the wall, make sure it's straight here. Okay, so we got our wire mold box on the wall. Snap our corner piece up in here. Hopefully I have a green screw. Unfortunately I do. And I'm going to make a little hole in the sheetrock behind it for it to go in. So I feel like this. Now I'll bring the camera up close so you can see how I wire this. Make sure you don't get your ground wire caught in the cutter. So we do have to bond our ground wire to the box. So put our screw in right here. Bring our ground wire around our green screw. There we go. So there's our ground, our black and our white. Okay, so in this example here where a white wire is live, we have to remark it with some red tape so that they know it's a live conductor. So we're going to just remark it here with the red tape. This will let anybody else know that this is a remarked white wire. It's being used for a live switch loop. You'll do the same thing on a 220, 240 volt circuit if you're using the white live. So we're going to open up a tab here to go up. So we'll put our ground wire around our green screw here. You always put it around the direction the screw turns, like that. Make sure the copper's under the screw head all the way around. You always go the direction your screw turns, and you want to make sure you don't get your insulation caught under the screw head. See, our insulation is not caught under the screw head and our copper is under all the way around. And we'll get our other one in up here. To make sure our insulation is just coming up to the bottom of the screw head but not caught under it. I'm going to just put my flashlight on it, make sure our insulation is not under the screw head there and our copper is under the screw head all the way around. So now we can fold our wires, push our ground wire down in the bottom like this, and we'll keep it down in the bottom, and we'll fold our black and white in like this. And we'll just make sure our ground wire is staying down here out of the way of everything so it doesn't touch anything we don't want to touch. And I'll finish these by hand so we don't strip our hole out. And I'll just make sure our screws aren't hitting any wires here. So here in the country I was born in, down is on, off, down is off, up is on. If you have it upside down, it will say no when the switch is on. I like this little hook knife here so I don't cut the wires. Make sure you get all your debris out. So we'll get our ground wires up out of the way here. Yeah, so make sure we have a nice length here where our insulation is going to get into the yellow there and our copper is going to get down to the bottom. Again, we have to mark our red wire, our white wire, with some red tape here. And this remarked white wire is going to go to the live black wire here. And we'll just re-verify that. That's the right one. And make sure our wire is all nice and straight to go in that Lego up here. I'll make sure it's not too long. I'm going to take just a smidgen off. Make sure our insulation is up into the yellow and our copper is all the way down. So now we know that this black wire is going to be live coming back from the switch. That's why you put the black feed wire to the white switch wire. I'm just going to check my strip lengths again. That one looks good. That one looks good, so we'll stick one right in here. Okay, I see our copper all the way up at the top there. I'll bring our other one up. Put it in here. Make sure our copper is coming all the way up to the top. And our insulation is going into the yellow part there. And we'll just fold this up into our box here. Okay, now we can put our extension on this here. Make sure I'm in my track on both sides here. we'll put a strap on here, up here, because there's nothing but paneling there. Alrighty, so thanks for watching. That is how to wire a new switch loop off of a where there was an existing switch in the ceiling. So we can turn it on and off here. Peace. Thanks for watching.